welcome to the Free Cheese episode 522. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Mark Augustiniak.
Hey.
Matt Sellner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. Every week on the Free Cheese podcast, we talk about a single game, we rate it, we review it, and then we rank it. You can follow all those rankings at thefreecheese.com/thelist, where we have everything ordered from the one to the bottom. This week we add Zuma Deluxe to the list. More on Zuma later. Last week we reviewed Shin-Chan, Me and the Professor on Summer Vacation, The Endless 7-Day Journey. And for the episode, I created a worksheet. And on that worksheet, I had a section with a little cloud that said, my dream announcement at Tokyo Game Show is this. Mark, we didn't answer that last week because I forgot. What was your dream announcement for this year's Tokyo Game Show?
My dream announcement is a port of Daytona, USA. Because it's sad that that is locked to the Xbox 360 arcade. And nowhere since then.
Yeah, there's a few Xbox...
Nowhere since then either, right?
Exactly, yeah, there's a few things that have me really thinking about buying a 360 before next year. I know. Yeah, that'd be nice. You just want a straight port, no remake, no,
That game is perfect as is. Just export to Steam along with all those other Sega games. I don't know why it hasn't been done yet.
I know. So many of them were, yeah. Matt, what is your dream announcement for Tokyo Game Show?
Maybe because Tokyo's in the name of the game show and the game, but I said Tokyo Jungle 2.
Great answer. Now, is that because you truly want a sequel to that, or you just want Sony to be creative again?
Both.
I love that answer. Thank you. I said, to no surprise at all, Monster Hunter 6. It's time. The big console... Monster Hunter World was the big console one. Now it's time for the next big console one. And now that they've gotten Street Fighter 6 to be cross-platform, cross-play, everything at launch, and they sort of started to do that with the last two Monster Hunters eventually, it's time to launch out of the gate. Let's go. Let's get everybody on board. I'm very excited for new Monster
Is
Hunter.
Rise not a big console one?
There's a whole thing. Technically, no. It's the portable, for lack of a better term.
Oh, okay.
It's usually there's not an A and a B team with Monster Hunter, but usually there's big game, little game, big game, little game, big game, little game. This Rise falls into little game.
Gotcha.
Granted, it's when I say little, it's still huge and still endless, right? All of that stuff. But in terms of like features and things like that, these like big whatever, like Rise was built on what, even though it's a different engine, it's weird how the Monster Hunter math works in the community, but technically Rise is not Monster Hunter 6. So
okay, I'll take your word for it.
I mean, you see that a little bit in Resident Evil as well here recently.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
in the
right.
past,
to
be fair.
So, Tokyo Game Show coming up soon. But this week we're talking Zuma Deluxe. Now, normally when we talk about a video game that we're ranking on the list, I break down the developer, the publisher, the platforms, and when it was first released. Boy, if you look up Zuma Deluxe, do you find many answers to those questions. So I'm going to go with my best intentions here. Developed by Oberon Games and later PopCap Games. Published by Oberon Games and later PopCap Games, but probably PopCap Games. Released for the sake of this podcast, we're talking about the Windows version, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3. But the original release of Zuma Deluxe seems to be December 8th, 2003. One thing we can all agree on is the back of the box reading. Well, I guess maybe some people will agree on it. We're going to agree on it. Survive the Ancient Temples of Zuma, the critically acclaimed action puzzler from PopCap. Deep in the jungle lie hidden temples bursting with traps and trickery, and it's up to you to uncover their treasures. Fire magical balls from your stone frog idol to make matches of 3 or more, and clear the deadly chain before it reaches the golden skull. Explore all the temples. If you're good, you'll rack up huge combos and special bonuses that'll help you on your way. But think fast and aim smart, or you'll be history in this action-packed puzzle challenge. Zuma Deluxe. Mark, you added Zuma Deluxe to the list. Was this?
Sure did.
Was this a Mark favorite? Was this, hey, we played Peggle last year, so we need another PopCap?
I don't know how to describe it. I think my initial honest thought was just, hey, I wanted something small to play that didn't require a lot of dedication to it. But at the same time, that's not the only reason. It's a game that I would play here and there. I think I first played it on the 360, just the demo, and I was like, oh, I don't even need to buy the game. I can just play this because there was so much to it. And then eventually I just got it on Steam because it's always like dirt cheap. And now in more recent times when I do play it, it scratches a certain vibe for me where like it feels like a game that should have come out with like Windows XP. You know how you have like that Space Cadet pinball game and stuff like that. This feels like it should be. It gives off one of those vibes just with its presentation.
Yeah, I get that.
And even though I first played it on 360 and I enjoyed using a controller, I do like that it's just simple enough where you just only need the mouse and you just have to aim. For some reason, that just feels super right. It feels very intuitive. Yeah, it's just one of those simple, I guess, TM games for me.
I imagine if you bought like the right bundle at CompUSA, this would have been a pack-in game. Like, you know how they would like pre-install bloatware and other software and stuff? Like, I bet you this was packaged on things. Matt, had you played Zuma Deluxe prior to this podcast?
I don't know if I played Zuma Deluxe prior, but I definitely played Zuma, whether it was like a demo, maybe. I don't know. I definitely played some boards of Zuma, though. I knew what to expect for this one.
I had not. I've played other shoot things at other things to make stacks of 3 and whatever, but not Zuma specifically. The general premise, if you've not, or not premise, it's not really a premise. It's a puzzle game. But the general setup, if you've not seen a board of Zuma Deluxe take place, you control a little frog who has little magical balls that you shoot from its mouth. They are of a certain color. And then surrounding the frog is, in every level, it's going to be a different layout maze, or trail rather, leading from off-screen somewhere to an on-screen golden skull. The balls will slowly move around this maze, all around the frog until they reach the golden skull, which, of course, you will lose the game if that happens, or you'll lose a life if that happens. You lose all 3 of your lives, then you restart. Not all the way back, but you do have to restart. And yeah, you're shooting balls at other balls to make matches of 3. Certain balls will have power-ups attached to them. So in Zuma Deluxe, you have bomb balls. These are not the official terms. I don't have Moby Games pulled up. Please forgive me. But there's bomb balls where if you hit the bomb, or if you hit the ball Rather, if you make the match of 3 and it includes one of these special power-up types, the power-up will trigger. There's bombs which explode all bombs within I would say like 9-ball radius, or 9-ball diameter. Call it like a 4.5 ball radius there. There's the accuracy ball, which lets you, it gives you like a little reticle, not reticle, but like a, what would you call it? Gives you ADS. It gives the frog.
Yeah, it's like a thin cone.
Sight. Yeah, cone. There you go, vision cone. You get there's a backwards arrow that pushes the whole line backwards away from its normal path, and then there's one that looks like a pause icon, but it actually just slows down the movement of the chain of balls. The thing I found, and I assume everyone does when they play Zuma Deluxe, is you can kind of just play this game by making stacks of 3 one by one, and you can survive that way. But when you really start to pay attention to the board and get good at the board, you can start to plan your stacks so that you can get crazy big chain combos and gap bonuses, right? You can kind of clear a section and then fire through a section to build out other sections. You can really be intentional with it and rack up a high score.
I think it's important to say that you're encouraged to do the gap chain, like the chain combos, like one ball then colliding and making like 3 things happen, because so say you like do it in the middle, you clear out something in the middle, and then what will happen is the 2 lines that you've created, if they're the same color, they will actually come together and mash, and in that mash in action, it kind of pushes back the main line. So it gives you like a little bit of relief if you are comboing correctly on top of all the other power-up balls you've explained.
And on top of that, once you do make those gaps, not once you make those gaps, but sometimes what you'll have is a random golden or silver coin on the opposite side of a line. So if you clear that section, you can seize the gap and hit the coin with one of your balls and score some bonus points. This game that we played, this version at least, has 13 main stages, each with 5 levels within. For, I think it's the first 5, you have a series of balls between red, yellow, green, and blue. At the 5th stage, I think, or it might be 6th, you add in the purple ball to the mix, adding a 5th color, and then eventually you'll add a gray ball to the mix. I will say that, as you go on, like, I don't know for sure, but there's a lot of stages that end up looking the same in terms of the shape. So I don't know that every single stage is unique, but I also don't think it matters. This is the type of game that, like, if I had this on my phone, which I believe there was an iPhone version at some point that's now been delisted, this would be the perfect thing to do a couple of levels while you're stuck in whatever thing you're stuck in, and then close it and move on. And then, eventually you get to the point where you've cleared all 13, you've, beaten the game, and then you would probably go back through and try and get high scores on specific levels or something like that. Mark, what was your experience on 360? Was it clear the game, go back and chase high? Was that the experience, or was it just sort of play it when you needed something like this to play?
It was definitely more the latter, I believe. I think I was just going down a rabbit hole of just like downloading demos and just seeing what I liked. I think I was still just trying to figure out just what games just worked for me and what didn't, and this happened to be one of those ones that was simple enough to just keep my attention and keep it going. Like, I was just starting to dip my toes in more of like a bust-a-move type games and some tower defense, and just kind of felt like a hybrid of the two. And yeah, I don't know, it's just something about it just clicked.
I forgot that EA owned PopCap now.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Did I
Sorry.
forget it, or that's...
Both. Sorry for your disappointment.
Yeah, 2011 they were purchased. PopCap, previously known as Sexy Action Cool. And their first title was a strip poker game.
I've never heard of this, but that is really funny.
Yeah, I didn't know that's where they started
Newsrounds.com.
It had to have been on, yeah. Where else did you make strip poker game? Yeah, so prior to this, did either of you have experience with Bejeweled? Like, were you into the Bejeweled scene? The Bejeweled scene. Like, that's...
Yeah.
That is a scene.
Sure.
I think it is a scene.
It shouldn't be the scene. It shouldn't be a scene as the correct answer, but I'm sure there is one. Yeah, I probably play more Bejeweled just because that is more cell phone friendly, more to the rise of the touchscreen phones, and I feel like I had Bejeweled on various iPhones throughout my tenure with iPhones.
Would you be surprised to learn that the first 3 Bejeweled games were released before the iPhone was?
No,
I wouldn't be shocked at all, but that's how much I played Zuma back then.
Yeah,
I didn't even know Bejeweled was even on mobile. I thought it was just strictly a PC thing because in my circles, Bejeweled became the new Tetris in a sense of like that's what moms play.
Oh yeah, yep.
So like every parent had Bejeweled on their PC or something like that, and that's how I always saw Bejeweled, and then which later evolved into Candy Crush.
Candy Crush, sure.
But while I was playing Zuma, and I wasn't really aware of Bejeweled like that, that's when I was more heavy getting serious with Tetris. Like I was like at my feel like that was like my peak of Tetris or something. Between the DS, between Tetris Splash on 360, and just like doing strictly competitive stuff with it.
Yeah, the only other PopCap game I think I'd played around with was Plants vs. Zombies.
Yes, that too.
I am, I think, 1 trophy away from getting the Platinum on the Vita version, and it's a trophy I will never get because it's next to impossible.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I have Bejeweled Classic in my app library, but they only had 2 achievements in it, so I don't think that was the one I played. The one I was playing must have been delisted or whatever. Because I think I had a number.
That definitely happened, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, overall, I mean, I don't know much. I don't know a ton to say on Zuma. I liked it overall.
Did you guys beat it?
Yeah, I got through the little spaceship, which the 13th level is cool because there's no track suddenly. Like the environment changes.
Oh, that's cool.
But
yeah, so as you can tell, I did not. I don't even think I got to World. I think I was struggling around World 8.
It definitely ramps up the challenge, but this is, it's just you kind of just do it enough and you can kind of not cheese it, but you do start to rack up enough level or lives at some point,
Yeah.
where you can rely on that, but yeah.
Also, the boards are not set. This is randomized.
Oh,
okay. I guess until the later portion, I assume. Right? Or is the path in the very end different too?
No, the path is always the same. I'm talking about the order of the balls. So
that
it's like
part.
red,
Okay.
red,
I thought you
red,
meant the
red,
path
red,
is
red.
randomized.
No, sorry, not that. No, those are set.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
you mean-
sometimes
so there's
you can
no
get-
like speed run strats you can do to know
No,
that,
like you can't like figure out like, all right, I should shoot here first, shoot here first. It's
Yeah.
But it also goes towards your way. You might just get an incredibly lucky board. I feel like that happened one time to me where I just saw this board. I was like, how did they shit this out? Like,
Yeah.
no, there like so there's a sense of randomness to it. Like, yeah, like you just can't shoot here, and then you're kind of like in
I
the
like
clear.
that though.
No, I do too. Just that I don't want to compare this too much to Peggle, but I think that was the element of Peggle that I didn't like. It was entirely random.
Right.
I mean, the board stayed the same, but like
Your action was random.
yeah, it never felt like you were in control. And I've since confirmed that watching speedruns of Peggle. Even like the best players still miss shots from time to time because it's random. Like I said, the board, the color and the layout is the order of the balls and whatever, like that's random. But like the board stays the same. You know how to make power ups. You can always make chain. Like there's a level of skill and mechanics that you learn that make you a better player. And then because you're a better player, you can get farther in the endless mode or get through all the worlds or whatever. Like this was like the missing piece I was missing from Peggle last year.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. I'm looking at the list already and wondering. Okay. I don't know if you guys experienced this or not. I don't know if I was alone, if you guys had this, but while I was playing Zuma Deluxe, I kept having this overwhelming feeling that former President Barack Obama used to play this a lot. I was just in the middle of different state. You guys had this? You guys
Why? No.
I'm playing through and I'm just like clicking, and I just kind of had this image in my head of him like chin in hand, just like studying the board, looking for the right move, like firing off, getting his gap bonuses, chasing down chain combos.
I thought I was the only one.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm very glad that out of everyone else in the world, it was someone I knew that shared this feeling.
This is a shared experience.
Yeah, because I'm sitting here thinking about politics while playing Zuma.
I wasn't thinking about politics. I was literally just thinking about the man. Just had nothing to do with politics. It had literally just
post presidency, him retired.
What about him?
Are you talking post presidency, him retired, or in presidency?
No, in the Oval Office, just sitting at his desk, just like, I'm gonna take 5 minutes, and he just kind of just like, you know what I mean? Like everybody's gotta have 5 minutes to, you know what I mean? Decompress, do your thing, and I just had this image of him just like,
I get it.
Proud of that high score. We know he played basketball, right? He'd hang out.
Basketball's a little bit different than fucking Zuma.
Not really. It's a pastime, right?
Jesus, that's the loosest of common threads.
I don't know, man. It was an image I had that would not.
You gotta defend the ball from going in a hole, right? Like that's half a basketball.
Not even. I wasn't even there with it. It was nothing about national security or any of his duties as president. It was simply just.
We need you to prove these documents. Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Give me 5. I gotta sit down for a second.
Zuma.
They made him quit smoking when he became president. You know what I mean? He needed something to do. It must have been Zuma Deluxe, because that was the mental image I had. What would you do if you quit smoking?
Or it's probably why his hair turned gray so quickly.
He couldn't get past.
You got a bad run or something.
Yeah, I get it.
So there's no way Zuma was ever being installed in that presidential computer. So you're saying that he had a side laptop in the Oval Office that he was sneaking into.
It was pre-installed.
The president used to get all their computers from CompUSA.
You know what?
Pre-installed with
They
Zuma Deluxe.
They booted Windows XP and it was already on there with Space Cadet.
Done.
Yep.
Or he had a 360. Just downloaded the demo. Didn't pay for it.
It is such a shame.
I pirated from the Pirate Bay. Fuck that. Like, where are we even overthinking this?
You don't have the demo. You don't even need
the Pirate Bay dot whatever it was.
That demo is so generous.
Well, Obama's playing Zuma as much as we're claiming here. He got through that demo.
Nah, he just keeps repeating it. He just keeps starting over.
Now this image of Obama
not
fucking
in the budget.
off. There's a second hidden door to the Oval Office. There's like a closet that has his terrible Windows 95 computer that has Zuma installed and him chain smoking while clicking with his right hand.
Well, if you remove the carpet in the Oval Office, there's actually a painting of the frog in the center.
Dude, I've got like 100 image results now of him sitting at his desk, chin in hand, looking at a computer screen. If we didn't do what we did for album art right now, boy, would this be the album art. It's just, I would take whatever he's looking at on the screen.
I couldn't imagine what our title would be.
Yeah, I know. How far we've come.
Where would President Obama put this on the list? That's the real question.
Are we jumping to the list already? We're there?
I mean, what else do we have to say? We tangented off to Barack Obama.
I mean, not every game is going to be extensive, right? But I think that's a good thing. I think sometimes it's nice to just have a simple, leisurely...
I agree.
I'm serious. I did not mean to jump into the list, but I figured we were on a tangent of Barack Obama. We had pull us in
for the record, that was a thing I did feel and thought and wrote down as part of my experience with the game, so it wasn't just a random tangent. I didn't just pull us there to fill time. It was a genuine talking point I wanted to address and see if I was alone. And
but obviously... he would make it number one because his list will only have one game on it.
True. I wonder what other games he probably... Well,
you don't think you played NBA Jam back in the day?
Did he talk about this openly? Are these things?
No, I'm just saying. You like basketball as a kid growing up? I don't think you had
I think if Zuma had never infected his life, he probably would have made time for that game.
Okay.
Zuma took too much from him.
Mm-hmm.
But the game would have made time for him because you're always on the clock on that game.
Fair. I think Barack Obama's Zuma Deluxe.
That sounds like he released a special version of the game.
He made this.
What version of the development cycle said Barack Obama and all the answers you found?
Well, that's an end of the year podcast reveal. We don't have time for that. We're running out of time here on this episode. I think I'm the only one that likes Pagel over this, so I want to hear where y'all are at, because I genuinely enjoyed my time with Pagel more, but Zuma Deluxe I think is fantastic, and I'm leaving it installed to just keep coming back to from time to time. In fact, if I go hunt down one of those Xbox 360s, I'm going to pick up a copy of Zuma. I genuinely enjoyed this game and will play this game now that I know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Since I didn't complete it, it was not due to me losing interest. It was, I guess is the way it losing interest, but I got the feel for the mechanics. I was well equipped for the episode, except for thinking about Barack Obama, of course. And I just kind of wanted to play other things. But I easily find myself coming back to this because the couple times I did have my sessions, it was usually on a weekend morning with coffee and just Zumaing away for a couple hours.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a good warm up or snack palate cleanser between things.
Just the brain thinking a little bit as you're firing up the neurons.
Fits with your solitaires and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That said, Pagel does make you feel like you have a better sense of progression, if that's something to judge it by. But I see that Pagel is also right above Devil's Crush. And I like Devil's Crush more than Zuma, if you're gonna make me compare that. But so I would
think
put it right on the
that
underneath.
sucks because I think
we're just getting to the point of the list where you just gotta have to pick two games. Don't look, put on the blinders. Just look at two games. Where does it make sense? Where do you think it works?
I kind of I shoot at an area and I'm like no, and then I just whiplash up and down the list. I
Yeah, Pay was in a weird spot for me as well. I think I do like Devil's Crush a bit better. Even though Devil's Crush is one board, you feel the repetitiveness of the boards in this one, I feel, more so than in Devil's Crush, ironically enough.
I think because you're expecting it to change and it doesn't.
Maybe that's it, yeah.
And Devil's Crush, like... And, I mean, there's just something about pinball in a sense of, like... Yeah, like, I like Zuma is, like, a little more methodical and, like, you can kind of take your time to a point and just kind of choose where to aim everything and hopefully get a good chain. But something about Devil's Crush where you just... It's nice knowing that you don't exactly have to think like that. You can just kind of aim wherever and just let shit hit wherever, you know.
I think you're just saying that pinball is better than Zuma, which I would agree with.
I am saying that pinball is better than Zuma.
Plus that music in Devil's Crush, you can't.
Yeah, you can't.
Yes, yeah.
It's weird, like, thinking about Zuma, I don't know. Zuma versus Peggle, even though I like Peggle better, I'd probably put Zuma above Peggle, but I wouldn't put Zuma above Devil's Crush, and here we are with Peggle above Devil's Crush. Let's put it above Rogue and below the Darkness. How's that sound?
Ooh, I like Zuma more than the Darkness.
I actually kind of like Zuma more than the Darkness.
Disaster Report 4?
I'd rather play Zuma.
It's a coin flip. They're completely different games, obviously. But I know replayability's part. I don't know, that's the make or break on this list all the time, but like I see me coming back to Zuma more regularly than I ever will Disaster Report 4 ever again. Now there was a Disaster Report 5 maybe.
It's coming, dude.
Oh, right, yeah.
TGS.
Right.
Stay tuned.
I thought it was the actual announcement. Am I just thinking of things now?
No, I'm just saying, like, maybe at TGS we get more.
Okay,
No, it is actually announced. They are making 5.
Okay.
And 3 just got an English localization, so...
I think we put Peggle above Devil's Crush because of the ball physics, because Devil's Crush it wasn't the greatest. It was good, but it had some of that jank.
Look at when it came out and what year it did.
I'm just saying. I think that might have been why Peggle was above Devil's Crush. It might have been just like a hairline.
Cadet Pinball wasn't janky?
No. How dare you?
I haven't ranked it yet, Matt.
Okay.
All right, I'm happy with it. Zuma Deluxe, the new 55 on the list.
Cool.
PopCap did it again. Will we have Plants vs. Zombies on the list next year? Stay tuned and find out. I can tell you, dear sweet listener, that next week, with episode 523, we're dying more than once in Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Come back and join us for that. Till then, thank you, Matt. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, listener, for listening. Bye.